Hello. Hello, everybody. How are you? It is that time. It is time for class. We got a topic tonight that is, pretty, what's the word? Symptomatic, right? If you're a woman, you're in this group. We only have women in this group, and I know there's lots of women that are struggling with estrogen imbalances, hormonal imbalances. So tonight we're going to talk about primarily just estrogen and the dominance side of estrogen and what that all means. We're going to talk about what foods raise it. Should it be high or low? How do you know where your estrogen level should be? And why are high estrogen levels bad? Because you hear a lot of times, when women get into perimenopause, or menopause, you hear things your doctor say, oh, your estrogen's low. And then, but yet so you're going to get symptoms when it's too low, but you're also going to get symptoms when it's too high. So this, episode tonight, this class tonight is going to talk primarily about the bad estrogens that get high, not so much about when your estrogen levels are low, what we can do about that. I've done a whole other video on that in this group. If you just go to the search bar and you type in hot flashes or hormone imbalances, I've done so many videos on like hormones and hot flashes actually too. I know there's somebody here who was asking about hot flashes. I did a whole video on that in here. So you should go back and watch that. But tonight we're going to talk just primarily about like the bad estrogens. Okay. So that's what the focus is going to be tonight, because you don't want the bad estrogens high in your body. Not only is it really bad for you, like things like cancer causing, but you don't feel very well. And if you have bad estrogens in your body and they're elevated, it can lead to some other diseases. So we're going to talk all about that. Who do we got on tonight? Got a few people on. Awesome. So make sure that you type in your questions as we go along. And at the end of class, I will make sure to try to answer your questions. We have a lot of new people in the group. So I do want to really quick, I will make this short, I promise. I do really want to quick just kind of explain who I am. There's people in this group who have no idea who I am. And I am the founder of the Diabetes and Weight Loss Lifestyle Coaching Academy. And I've been studying nutrition for many, many, many years. And I've had my share of, health issues, right? It started off a few years ago, like many years ago, probably 20 now, where I had hormone imbalances. I had insulin resistance. I had estrogen dominance, and I'd gained a bunch of weight, and I just didn't know the why. I'm really, really, really big on understanding the why of what's causing our diseases, right? So in both of my books that I write about, one I write about diabetes and weight loss, and my other book I write about cancer, I'm always trying to figure out the why, of the reasons why. That was my big thing when I had estrogen dominance, when I had insulin resistance, when I gained all that weight. I was like, why? Why am I gaining weight? Because I couldn't figure out the why. So all of my research and all of everything that I do is really trying to uncover the why our bodies are doing certain things. Even when I had cancer, I wanted to figure out why I got cancer, because our bodies aren't born diseased. Our bodies are born healthy. So what happens over the course of our lives where they break down? And this is what I've learned, what I've studied, the reasons for our bodies breaking down, causing disease. Inflammation. If you have inflammation in your body's going to break down. Okay. If you have hormone imbalances, your body's going to break down. If you are stressed out, stress causes so much damage to your body. It causes so many of your hormones to be out of balance. It causes, hormones like insulin and cortisol to raise in the body, which are very inflammatory. So that stress is very much related to inflammation, but very also related to hormones. So these are all kind of interconnected. If you are really sedentary, that's not good for you. We've got to move. Our bodies are designed to move. So that's something to consider. If your mindset is really bad because you're stressed out, or vice versa, you're stressed out, so your mindset is bad, we've got to just be aware that that is a cause of our bodies being diseased. Also, if you're nutrient deficient and you're not getting the right supplements or micros or macros in your foods, your body's going to break down. If you're not eating right, If you're putting bad foods in your body or not the right foods, if you have allergies to certain foods, that's going to cause a breakdown in your body. And also medications. If you are on a lot of medications, your body is going to break down. Medications, there's a lot of misinformation about medications. Your doctors want to prescribe medications all of the time. That's all they want to do, right? And you want to go on medications when it's necessary, and you always want to use them short term. They're never designed to be long term if you truly want to heal your body. Okay, medications are designed to treat. What we want to do, is uncover the reason why your body needs medication, and then give it what it needs, finding the imbalance with these different categories, and then fix the imbalance so that you can get off medications. And medications are not designed to heal. Medications treat, okay? So, like you've seen this graphic so many, many, many times, we're either feeding disease through all of these different things. We're either feeding disease or we're feeding our health. And all of these things need attention. We need to pay attention to our inflammation. We need to pay attention to what medications we're on. We need to pay attention to the foods we eat. We need to pay attention to the supplements. We need to pay attention to the deficiencies. We need to pay attention to our hormones. We need to pay attention to our stress, our activity level, and how we're thinking. So all of those things are contributing to disease. But a lot of times people will think, oh, if you're, being having cancer or getting hormone imbalances or diabetes is just only one thing. It's just because you're eating bad. No, that's just a part of it. That's usually the start. That's a part of it. But all of those things, all of those 7 things I just mentioned are encompassing into your body breaking down. So this is why I teach lifestyle, right? And you guys might have heard that term before, lifestyle, but I think how I teach it and explain it is the best, because it's just never one thing. We've got to uncover every aspect of your lifestyle, from the inflammation, from the mindset, from the exercise, from the hormone imbalance, from the stress level, from the medications that you're on, trying to get you off of them, from the foods that you eat. Are you getting the right foods for your body? Do you know what the right foods are for your body? Are you on the right supplements? Are you over supplementing? Are you under supplementing? What's the right ones for you? Are the ones that you're putting in your body, are they even good? Are you digesting them? How's your gut function? If you have inflammation and you have acid reflux and you have constipation, you have diarrhea and you have acid reflux and you have Crohn's disease and you have irritable bowel syndrome, you have inflammation. Okay, your body's not going to heal if you're not going to ever be able to fix the underlying problem. If you have hot flashes is a symptom. It's just a symptom of your body being out of balance. So my position is, we want to always figure out the why. And these classes in this group are designed to give you guys information so you guys can start asking the questions like, is that what's happening with me? What should I be doing differently? What can I try? Right? You always want to consult with your medical doctor before you do anything. If you come and work with me, I will help you do that. I will help you have those discussions with your medical doctor. But you always want to consult with, your medical doctor if you're on medications and you don't want to just go off your medications cold turkey. But so many of you in this group are over medicated, and you trust your doctors. And I understand that. I understand that. But your doctors are not trained in nutrition. Okay, hear me on this. They're not. They are brilliant at diagnosing. They're brilliant at trauma care. They're brilliant at prescribing you medications. But if you go to your medical doctor and say you have a hot flash, they'll have no clue what to do. They'll put you on creams and drugs. If you go to a doctor and you have acid reflux, they have no clue what to do. They'll put you on acid reflux medication, which is acid reflux, heartburn is one of the easiest things to fix without medication. But doctors don't know that, because acid reflux is a nutritional symptom. Hot flashes, same thing. They'll want to put you on creams. Well, you go putting yourselves on creams and you're putting hormones on your body, in your body, or on your skin. You're messing with your body's own innate chemistry. And that's not good either, right? So when you go to your medical doctor and that's all they want to do is diagnose you and put you on medications, that's just the wrong path. Okay, so I'm not saying all medications are wrong all the time. What I'm saying is that you have to learn and understand what's right, the right way to figure out the underlying root cause. Like, what's the underlying root cause of your constipation? Why are you fatigued? Why are you, achy? Why do you have pains in your stomach? Why are you constipated? Why do you have Crohn's disease? Why do you have irritable bowel syndrome? Why are you getting headaches? Why do you have acid reflux? Why were you diagnosed with fibromyalgia? Why are you depressed? Right? So again, when you start asking the why, most of you will be like, I don't know, because your doctors won't tell you. They know how to prescribe you medication, and in some instances, medication short term is fine, but long term, it's never the answer. You have high blood sugars, you go to your doctor, what does he do? He doesn't tell you how to get your blood sugars down. He gives you insulin and metformin, right? So again, what we want to do, and my whole passion and my um, the reason why I started this group is to give you guys information to empower you so you can start having these conversations with your medical doctor, and you can start learning and start taking kind of your health into your own hands. Okay, so tonight we're talking about estrogen. Oh my word. Estrogen, estrogen, estrogen. And we want to talk about like what estrogen is. We want to talk about kind of like what part of estrogen is good, what part of estrogen is bad. Estrogen is complex. It's basically a complex of 3 hormones. The 3 hormones are estrone, estriol, and estradiol. Without getting too complicated, okay, there's 2 types. These 3 break down into 2 types. A 2-hydroxy, which is a protective form of estrogen. We need estrogen in our bodies. We need the type that's protective. But there's also the bad estrogens, which is a 16-hydroxy. And when you have an overabundance of the bad estrogens and not enough of the protective, that's when there's problems, health problems, okay? Estrogen, the bad estrogens, is anabolic. And anabolic feeds. Think of what anabolic means. Anabolic means it makes things bigger. So if you have a lot more of the bad estrogens or too much estrogen in your body, you're going to gain weight. You're going to grow. Things are going to get bigger. Why do you think women that get diagnosed with breast cancer, right, are always put on estrogen lowering drugs? Because estrogen makes things grow. If you have high estrogen, the bad estrogens, the estrogen mimickers that we're going to talk about tonight, those are going to feed cancer. Okay, so it's super important that you understand the dietary ramifications of these things you're putting in your body. You're either feeding disease, you're feeding estrogen, or you're not. So again, we want to understand what forms of our body's own natural estrogen are protective, but we also don't want to feed the bad estrogens, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Okay, you guys? So the bad estrogens are anything that mimics bad estrogens in the body. Okay, so when you put things in your body that mimic estrogen, it's going to increase the bad estrogens, okay? And those bad estrogens are what are called estrogen dominance, right? So if you have estrogen dominance, you have too many of the bad estrogens, you are going to have these things happen to you. You're going to end up getting hypothyroid. These are the possible things that will happen when you have estrogen dominance and you don't take care of it. Hypothyroid, autoimmune diseases, chronic fatigue, ovarian cysts and cancer, weight issues, insulin resistance, PCOS, endometriosis. These are very common diseases that will happen when you have estrogen dominance. Okay, so what are some of the things that cause your body to mimic estrogen, the bad estrogens? Number 1, soy. Soy are exoestrogens. And soy is one of the highest processed and GMO foods in the world. You can't get soy that is non-GMO, basically. It's very rare that you can get non-GMO soy. The other thing, people ask me all the time too, they'll say, well, what about organic soy? Listen to me. How soy is comprised, it just raises this estrogen. So you don't want to put a estrogen mimicking product in your body. I am not a fan of soy anything. Now, there's fermented soy. You've probably heard of fermented soy like natto and some of the fermented soys. That's different because that's fermented. It doesn't have the same chemical structure as soy, and it's not estrogen mimicking. So, but anything soy, you need to be very careful about the type of soy you put in. I don't even consume soy at all, but there's many products that have soy in it. And even like those of you who think, well, my doctor said have soy milk, or my doctor said have soy milk and soybeans and soy protein, soy isolate. No, all of those are estrogen mimickers, and you will end up having some of the symptoms of being estrogen dominant. So I would totally omit soy from your diet altogether. Sugar and carbs will raise your estrogen, will raise your bad estrogen. And I'm talking like sugar in the form of, donuts and cookies and pasta, and carbs like wheat and all of those carbs that are going to raise your sugar. You guys know what those are, okay? So estrogen will increase when you eat a lot of sugar and carbs, and it will lower progesterone. Okay, so what most people do is when they go to their doctor and their doctor says, "Oh, you're low on, progesterone," they put them on progesterone cream. Okay, but now you got high progesterone and high insulin, and you're really going to feel miserable. Okay, our bodies are naturally designed. It knows how to regulate our hormones if we give it what it needs. So by putting all these topical creams on, you're messing with your own body's chemistry. It's better off to give it what it needs nutritionally, so that your body knows how to hormonally figure itself out. Honestly, that is the best way. That really is the best way. Now, are there some supplements that will help with creating some hormone balance when we do, reach that perimenopause age or menopause age? Of course. But I'm talking just primarily, getting rid of these things initially, so that you can start to identify, what's going on if you do have high insulin or high estrogen. Okay. Number 3 is dairy. Oh, I know you guys are going to kill me, but dairy is so full of bad hormones. And here's why: because when you drink milk, or when you consume yogurts that are with milk products, cows are injected with medications. They're injected with hormones to make the cow grow bigger, and those are then in the milk. There was a study done that 1 gallon of milk contains up to 20 different chemicals, medications, steroids, and antibiotics in 1 gallon of milk, over 20. So think about that. When you're drinking, a glass of milk, and in that gallon of milk, you're drinking a glass, and there's over 20 chemicals, steroids, antibiotics, and hormones in there, and you're putting that in your body. Of course, that's going to raise your bad estrogen. It's going to mimic estrogen in your body. So, I am not a fan of dairy either. And people ask me again, the same question that they asked me about soy. Well, what about organic? Well, here's the deal. First of all, dairy, no matter if it's organic or not, is full of sugar. And when you have sugar in your body, it's going to cause inflammation. Okay. Dairy has hormones in it from the cow. Cows have hormones that our bodies don't recognize. Women, we have 3 types of estrogen: estrone, estriol, and estrogen. Cows have numerous other hormones in their body. You can't take that out of the milk, organic or not. So you're putting all those foreign hormones inside of your body. This is why, again, you got to be very careful with what kind of dairy you eat, if at all. Just so you know, I haven't had dairy in years. I use other sources. Same thing with meat, for the same reason as dairy. The meat that you eat is pumped with antibiotics, with hormones to make the animal grow faster. Also, the cows are being fed GMO corn and soy. They're being fed it. So when the cow is eating it, it's getting into the meat. So organic, of course, is better. So if you're going to eat meat, you need to buy organic. I would prioritize, if you had to budget anything in your life, anything from a food standpoint, budget buying organic meat if you're eating meat. That will at least help a little bit, right? Because if it's grass-fed, and then it's organic, and they're not the cow is growing at a natural rate, which takes 5 to 10 years for a cow to grow, right? Whereas when they're putting and injecting it with hormones, it's like I think they're turning a cow into a bovine, like a full-fledged 800-pound cow in like 2 years, or a year, 2 years. My time frames might be a little off. I'm exaggerating. It's not 8 to 10 years. It's a little bit shorter than that. But I'm just saying they are purposely injecting the cow with these hormones so that they grow really fast. Okay. Whereas when you buy organic, they're not injecting with those hormones. They're and they're antibiotics. They're feeding it grass and food that's healthy. So your best option is to buy organic if you're going to eat any sort of meat. Okay. So that's number 4. The other thing is the BPA in plastics. BPA stands for biphenyl A, and it's an estrogen mimicker. Okay, so especially when you're buying bottled water in a non-BPA plastic, and then you're putting it outside, because anytime that BPA gets heated, it's just pushing all of those chemicals into the water. Teflon pans, the same way. That Teflon, when you heat it up, it is causing something called PFOAs, which are very toxic, and they're also estrogen mimickers. So your estrogen will raise if you're eating a lot of that. Okay, so again, when you are eating any sort of just generic foods, vegetables, fruits, whatever foods you're eating, you want to buy non-GMO and organic. Okay, you want to buy organic, non-GMO. So that's kind of a typo. It should be non-GMO and organic. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're taking a look as you're doing your food assessment. Take a look at these things and start to cut back. Even if you're eating a lot of soy right now, eating a lot of sugar and carbs, eating a lot of dairy, a lot of meat, drinking all of your water out of plastic, then at least just start to take a look at that and cut back. I drink everything out of glass unless I know it's BPA free. If I know it's BPA free, then I'm okay. But if it's not BPA free, everything I do is in a glass. Okay. Also, 95% of what I eat is organic, and non-GMO. When I go out to eat, of course, you can't always, know if it's organic or not. I do my best, but I want to live my life too. But I make a conscientious effort to 95% of my life to manage this. And I used to have estrogen dominance, and it felt crappy and it wasn't good. And so, when you get those hormones figured out, you do feel a lot better. But these are the steps I took. So here are some things you can do to detox from bad estrogens. Besides just start to, eliminate some of these, here are some things that you can do. You want to start eating cruciferous vegetables, because cruciferous vegetables have a phytonutrient in it called idyl 3-carbinol. It's in short for idyl 3-carbinol. It's called DIM. And when you eat these cruciferous vegetables, they go into your body. Originally, it starts as sulfur, and sulfur in the body has a lot of powerful antioxidants, and that is going to help push all of that extra estrogen out of your body. So cruciferous vegetables are vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, collard greens, arugula. This is going to help you to detox and push that extra estrogen out of your body. Okay, so it will help lower the bad estrogens and raise the good estrogens. So get a lot of cruciferous vegetables in your body. You also need a healthy liver in order to detox bad estrogens. So if you have a fatty liver, then you need to first work on trying to heal the liver, because you detox these estrogens through your liver. And so if your liver is unhealthy and fatty, that's another reason why you should go back to start eliminating some of these things, because this is just going to make your fatty liver worse, and it's also going to make your estrogen dominance worse. Okay, so we want to start taking care of our liver. Some supplements that will help if you want to, in addition to eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables, some supplements that will help. You can take additional DIM if you want. Again, you get these through those cruciferous vegetables, but you can take a DIM supplement. If you know for sure you've been diagnosed with with estrogen dominance, for sure you can take that. Sea kelp, which is also iron, or iodine. It's a really better form of iodine is food form, which is sea kelp. That was a really good supplement to help you to push that estrogen out. Milk thistle is a really good supplement. Also is really good for your liver. Helps your liver to be able to push that stuff through. And then dandelion. So those are some supplements that you can start taking immediately to help you with detoxing those bad estrogens. Okay, you guys? So this was a short little class, and I will eventually do a class on what are some of the symptoms and what are some of the things you can do if you have low estrogen. So some of you in this group, you might not know if you have high estrogen or low estrogen because some of the symptoms might cross over. Hot flashes, weight gain, fatigue, right? So, what I'm going to do is maybe next week I'll do an actual video that talks about if you are perimenopausal or menopausal and you have low estrogen, then I want to explain to you kind of what that is, and I want to help you to understand what you can do to raise the good estrogens, okay? Because here's what's going to happen. If you have low estrogen, right, if your good estrogen is low, you can still have really high bad estrogens. So even if you have low estrogen, you want to do what I'm teaching you tonight to get rid of those estrogen mimicking components, because that will also not help. It will help. It won't help you raise those good estrogens. Okay. So I would absolutely start with this. So I hope this was helpful. The last thing I want to mention to you guys is, I am so much about helping you guys understand the why. Okay. It's so important to me to educate you and help you to coach you and to figure out, you come to me and you say, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. And I can do a complete assessment on you, and I can really help you to identify what is going on. And that is why I have developed my camps. Okay. So this weekend, you guys, I have a camp that I'm doing. And if you want to actually have a conversation with me and actually get an assessment done, right, where I will be able to prove to you and show you on paper what is going on, what some of the whys are, why you're not feeling well, why your blood sugars are high, why you don't, why you're on medications. What's the why? Because when you go to your doctor, right, your doctor diagnoses you and then right away he prescribes. And then he puts you through all the medication process. And what does this take? All of like 10 minutes in his office? What I do is once you've been diagnosed, right, then we start doing it my way. And this takes more than 15 minutes. Like I can help you get a jump start at camp. At camp, I'm going to spend 5 hours with you at camp. And we're going to go over your individual situation. You guys, if you are not signed up for camp, you have to get registered. This is the last camp of 2021. So if you're struggling with high blood sugars, if you're struggling with hot flashes, if you're 20 pounds more overweight, if you've been diagnosed with prediabetes or diabetes, if you are on more than one medication, if you feel tired, fatigued, frustrated, if you've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, if you don't know what to eat, like you're just like, I have no idea what to eat. I don't have any clue. If you've tried different diets and they're not working for you, if you have terrible cravings, if you have horrible symptoms, if you need recipes and food ideas, you need to join us at camp this weekend. Okay, this is what we're going to talk all about this. You want to talk about estrogen dominance on Saturday? Fine. We are going to talk about anything and everything you want to talk about because, again, remember, it's the why. We want to know why you have high blood sugars. You don't have high blood sugars because you lack metformin and insulin medication. You don't have heartburn because you lack acid reflux medication. You don't have high cholesterol because you lack statins. You don't have high blood pressure because you lack blood pressure medications. Most of you are on all of those medications, and you never question your doctors, or your doctors never gave you an explanation why. Why did your blood sugar all of a sudden get high? Why did your cholesterol all of a sudden get high? Why did you all of a sudden get acid reflux? Why did you all of a sudden get, blood sugars were high? Right? And I can guarantee, and I know this to be true because I've seen it hundreds of women over and over again. When you get put on medications, do you ever get off of them? Do your doctors ever pull you off? No. You keep going back to them, your situation gets worse, and you keep increasing the medications. I know this because I see it all the time. So at camp, this is your opportunity to talk with me. Let me give you a health evaluation. Let me give you a jump start that you can start implementing some of these things immediately to get relief. Immediately to get relief. Okay, you guys? So this is the last camp of 2021. So, you know, I don't know what you're waiting for. There is no reason to wait. There is no reason to wait. If you're thinking right now, you're saying right now, well, I got plans. Cancel your plans. You can do your plans some other time. Get to camp. This is the last camp of 2021. You're not going to get this again until the next year. And next year, who knows what'll happen? I might not have camps because I don't know. I'm just saying, get in to this camp because it's going to be amazing. You will not regret coming to camp. Okay, you guys? So I'm going to close with an amazing interview. I'm going to close with an amazing interview, and then I am going to watch my email, and I'm going to welcome all of you guys who are signing up for camp, because we have a lot planned for you on Saturday or Sunday. I can't wait to meet all of you. And you know what? Here's what I'll do. Those of you who watch this class tonight, if you think you have estrogen dominance, I will show you. I will be able to show you on Saturday with this health evaluation that I'm taking. I will be able to show you whether or not you have estrogen dominance. And we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. If you are struggling with hot flashes, if you have high blood sugars, if you have high cholesterol, we're going to talk about all of it. I'm going to say, okay, listen, here's why you have, here's the why. Here's the potential reasons why. And you're going to look at that and you'll be like, wow, I've never heard this before. Because listen, our bodies are designed to heal themselves. We just have to understand what to do. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you understand the why. I'm here to get you on the right path to be able to give you the help that you need, and camp will give you the help that you need. So get to camp. It's a no-brainer. Get to camp. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, you guys? So we're going to close with an interview, and then I will see you guys at camp. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Oh boy, am I thrilled to introduce you to Sherry. Sherry has only been doing this program for 2.5 months, 6 weeks. 6 weeks, or 1.5 actually. What am I saying? 2.5.
1.5.
1.5. 6 weeks. She's been doing this program for 6 weeks. And you're going to be blown away at what she's been able to do in only 6 weeks. Sherry, girl, hello. How are you?
Hello, darling. I'm great. I'm happy to be here. I am so grateful. You have no idea. You have no idea.
Oh my word. Tell me all the things. So tell the ladies, like, share where you were only like 6 weeks ago. I mean, it's just even crazy for me to say it out loud. Like, usually when I do these interviews, they're at like 3-4 months down the road, but we're switching things up a little bit because your story it's just mind-boggling what you've been able to do in just 6 weeks. It just goes to show you how effective the strategy is if you make the decision to, do the work, right? So tell us a little bit about you and where you were 6 weeks ago and kind of what brought you to this point.
Yeah, I'm actually going to back up even before that, because I first became introduced to you before your April group. And I didn't join you at that point because I was already working with another professional, and I'd worked with a couple of other well-known people in the diabetes space. And I thought that I was making some really good progress. I'd gone from like a 13.1 A1C to an 8.6, but I was sucker punched because I had labs done and sent for an ultrasound and then had to go to a CT scan because my liver numbers were extremely high. Had fatty liver, had an enlarged liver and an enlarged spleen, fatty liver, big deal. And I was defeated, and I was frustrated, and I was mad. And I'm going to be honest with you. I joined the academy out of desperation in that moment, because I knew that I could fix this. I just didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know what I was missing. And I have to say, the first week or two, I was probably your worst student, because I had this mindset that I'd already heard this stuff. I'd already done the research. I'd already been taught different things. And then kind of partway through week two, I just had to give my head a shake and said, you know what? You don't know what you don't know, and just forget everything that you thought you learned. Come with a brand new, fresh beginner's mind. And I just committed to doing the program for 3 months. And then we'll see. Like, I'm not going to pass judgment. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to do it for 3 weeks and then see what happens. And it didn't take, or 3 months rather, but it didn't take 3 months to see what happened, because I had an internal specialist that recently sent me for blood work. And in just 5 or 6 weeks, the change already has been so significant that I can't ignore it, and I can't deny it. And I'm just super grateful to you for kind of just letting me work out my internal drama for a couple of weeks.
Well, you know what? I love your honesty, though. I love the fact that you're honest about it. That, because I tell people all the time, like prove me wrong. Like, come and join me if you think this is not working. You don't have to. It's a month to month thing. You don't have to be with me forever. Whatever. I say give it a try, because you guys are being told so. And this is where the confusion is. And this is what I love about your testimony here about saying what you did, is because when people come to me, they've tried so many other things, and they're in the back of their mind, they're like, "What? How is this going to be different?" But it is, and it's really hard to share that, because they're burnt out. They're like, "I've tried, spent thousands of dollars on other programs. How are you different?" Right? And so I'm so grateful that you had the confidence in yourself and in me to make this decision, because in 6 weeks, what you've done is unbelievable. Talk a little bit about some of the labs that have changed.
Oh my gosh. It's like I fully expected that some of the labs to get worse just because I'm shedding some weight, but that didn't happen. Like, my liver markers, the ones that were really bad, one of them went down by 55%, another went down by 45%, another went down by 30%. My cholesterol numbers went down by 30%. My A1C dropped by 1.4 points. Like, we're talking like 5 or 6 weeks. Like, this is nothing. This is like a blip in your life. And that much change can happen already. So you're kind of just stuck with me forever now, because this
oh, bummer.
It's
like, what a bummer that is.
But it's like, when you find something and it works, it gives you this certainty and this clarity that like, this is like, I can actually do this. Like, what I'm doing is making a difference, and I can see that in the labs. So even though before, what I was doing, like, physically I felt better, I had less inflammation, but internally I didn't know the mess that was happening. Because, like you said, like, I just didn't know what I didn't know. Like, there were just a couple of foods that I was eating that was actually really contributing to the fatty liver, and they're healthy, nutritious foods. So until you know that, you don't know to change that.
Yeah, and this is also, I love that you're bringing this up, because I'm not going to ever knock other programs, because that's just not what I'm going to do. But what I know about this program is it's so customized. Like, it's like we have structure and process, of course, but how I think we're different is that it's that live interaction connection where I can look at you in the eye every week and I can say, what's going on? How can we tweak it? What can we do? Instead of just like, like you go to a doctor and you see them once every 3 months and they tell you, here's some medication, and they don't give you any direction. Not saying I'm a doctor, but I'm just saying I sometimes feel like you get more. Well, you do. You guys you get more value from somebody like a coach like me, because it's customized for you. And that's, I think, where it's different. Would you agree?
100%. The one-on-one coaching is invaluable, and I learned so much from the questions that the other people in the academy have that I didn't necessarily think to ask. And it's interesting that you bring up this advice from doctors. Like, I love my doctors, but here's the problem: I had 6 different doctors give me 6 conflicting directives on how to deal with this. So I was already confused at the jump. Then I go into specialty programs, but they didn't have the one-on-one coaching. And, it's a fairly generic program. Like, it's not as customized to the individual. And I'm not knocking that other program at all. Like, I got a lot of value from that, and I learned a lot from that. But what I also learned was that program worked really great for some people, but for me, it created some other issues that I didn't know that it was going to create. So, you just have to find what works for you. But I can tell you that this has worked for me like nothing has ever worked for me. Like, I struggled with not being able to lose weight. I was put onto an insulin, and I immediately, in the span of 5 weeks, gained 45 pounds. So it was making the whole issue worse. It wasn't making it any better. And I can tell you, like, in these 5 or 6 weeks, like, I've lost 24 pounds.
Yeah, let's show
right?
what you've done. Are you ready for this? Look at this.
Okay.
Look at this.
Oh,
in
God.
2 months, in less than 2 months, right? Blood sugars.
Yeah.
Blood sugars were in the high 100s.
Yeah.
And now they're almost, they're normal. 80 to 100, 130. Lost 24 pounds and 17 inches. You're off all your insulin, Sherry.
I'm off the insulin, but I'm also off the oral medication. I'm on 0 diabetes medication. 0.
And look at the change.
Yeah.
In just 2, and this is in 6 weeks, under 2 months. That is
like, look how healthy I am. Like, there's now I have like a half of an extra chin, not 2 double chins.
Stop. That's not why I show that picture. I will show that picture because
no, but it's like,
helps.
But it's the puffiness. Like, yeah.
It's
so I feel amazing. Yeah. And the other thing that I really noticed, like, before I started the program, like, this is going to sound crazy, but like, I literally thought that I had like early onset Alzheimer's, because it's like my brain wasn't functioning properly. It's like I'd look at a number and I'd look over here to transcribe it, and I couldn't remember the number. Like my brain wasn't working. I wasn't able to really focus at work. Like, I felt like I was busy all day, but I didn't feel like I really accomplished anything. And now it's like my brain feels sharp. It feels faster. Like, I feel more like myself. Like, I just wasn't feeling like myself at all. And it's really lovely. Like, I would have like an energy lull in the middle of the day, like after lunch. It's like, man, like, so then I'm reaching for some caffeine. Like, I'm on 0 caffeine, and I'm not getting a slump in the middle of the day. So it's amazing to me. Not only am I dropping weight and I'm dropping inches and the inflammation, and my brain feels clearer, it's actually really simple to do. Like, it doesn't mean that it's easy. Like, you still have to get over your mental drama, but the process is simple. You know what I mean?
The mindset drama that comes up. Yes, I get that, right? But again, this is why I love like everything you've touched on today, because it's you're gonna be so relatable to so many women, because women out there, they're so frustrated. And they don't even know when they try programs or diets. Of course, diets work, but they're short term. What we teach is what you're learning, which is we need to be able to do what we're learning long term. We have to be able to do this long term, or what good is it? And that's hard work. And if we don't understand and start working on the mental component of it along with the health component, that's the trick. And
that's what's unique with you, Terry, because the other programs will talk about food and they'll talk about exercise. but they're not necessarily talking about this whole mind shift or the mindset coaching that you do. Like what you do really is unique in the industry in terms of anything I've come across, and I've looked at a lot, and it encompasses all the aspects, and we learn from each other, and we learn from you, and we support each other, and and we don't always have up days. Like that's life, get over it. But there's always somebody else that can say, yeah, I can relate to that, or this is what I tried and this helped for me. So that's been hugely beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, I am just overwhelmed with joy for you, because I know when you started, you weren't feeling very good. Even though you say you weren't feeling very, very good, you weren't. You weren't feeling very good mentally. You were 24 pounds heavier. That can't feel good. Your insulin was high. Your blood sugars were high. You had severe inflammation, as we can see from the pictures. And just the change that you've done by making the decision to commit to your health in 6 weeks is astounding.
It is. It is. And when I filled out, the original paperwork, and I said, yeah, I feel pretty good. Relatively speaking, I did, compared to what I felt like, 6 months or a year before.
Yeah.
But again, you don't know what you don't know. Like I had been feeling, not great for so long that any little improvement was an improvement.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to realize now just how much more there is. I'm feeling so much better already, but it's only been 6 weeks. What's it going to be like in, 6 more weeks, or in 6 more months, or in another year? Like it's incredible.
Yeah, well, you're on your way to reversing your diabetes, which is something that people are told will never happen. And, you're off all your insulin. And insulin is the most inflammatory drug. And it makes us feel so miserable when we have too much of it. And yet you're being pumped with, people with diabetes, that's the drug for diabetes is insulin. And it's diabetes is a nutritional disease. But that's not what you're being taught, right? So I'm so happy for you. And I love how, you're more present with yourself. I can see it in your face. I can see it in your energy, that you're just more present, like with who you are. And you're not hiding behind, the things that you could be hiding against, which is the disease. And so I'm grateful and happy for you. And you're going to just be an inspiration to so many of these women who are in the same shoes as you. So thank you for sharing.
So you get a jump start. You get to learn this wise woman process that Terry's created. And she always says it's never just one thing. And it's never just one thing. So it helps you start to identify what it is for you. What are the big pieces that you can actually make the dial move in a more favorable direction for you? Is it nutrition? Is it your mindset? Is it, the exercise? Is it, supplementation? Like there's so many things that you'll learn that you won't actually hear anywhere else. So if you've got, if you can make it to camp, I would say run, don't walk.
Love it. I love it, girl. You're amazing. You're amazing.
You're amazing. I'm
smart,
so grateful,
articulate, and beautiful. And I'm just so grateful that you're part of our sisterhood. You're just an incredible human being. So I love you, sister. Congratulations, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
My pleasure.